KD says, hey guys, what's the best way to use crowdsearch.me for local right now? I bought it through a link Hernan sent out to, or sent to your future SEO click-throughs page, but then I saw your post here a couple of weeks ago and where you will not be implementing apps like that for GMB or money sites as they've been flagged. Yeah, that's true. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. It still can be used. I just think it's been deprecated quite a bit. I know it has, because I used to use the shit out of it. I promoted crowdsearch.me for a solid 2 years because I used about 50,000 credits per month. I'm not kidding, because it worked really, really well. But as everything that we do in SEO, it became saturated, and other products and services, PandaBot and a bunch of other ones popped up that started providing the same. Serpify's one, another one's, I think, I don't know. There's a ton of them. I actually did a case study test on those too, by the way. We tested like 4 of them. Another one is John Luckenbacher's Rainmaker. We got, I don't know, there's a bunch of services like that, and I've done case study tests on many of them, and found that and I didn't even start the case studies until after I realized that they weren't working as well, right? I started to see less and less results from using them. Okay, so but I'm not saying that there's not still a place for it. I just don't bother with it because it has become so ineffective that it's not worth the trouble or the expense when I can get much better results by setting up other campaigns or using like YouTube, for example. And I've talked many, many times about how to drive cheap traffic from YouTube, which is verified, like real people, right? And you can accomplish a lot of the same thing using traffic from YouTube. You can also hire microtask workers, and although that's not as effective as it used to be either, for reasons of their search history and stuff like that. Like essentially, remember, guys, Google keeps a profile of everybody, right? They built like a profile of Google users. So anytime you're using Google and you're logged into an account, they're tracking what you do. They're compiling a history of your browsing history and the types of content that you look at, the types of searches that you do, the types of websites that you click on and interact with and engage with. So Google creates a profile for each user. And so even now when you hire microtask workers and you tell them to go to Google at google.com in the US, right, and search for a particular keyword, and then go find your listing on page 1 or page 2 or whatever, all the way up to page 10 if you want, whatever page it is, then click on it and then find the 3rd word in the 4th paragraph and copy it and paste it into the answer box for the microtask dashboard, right? So that way you know that they did. And why do you do all these things with microtask workers? Think about that. You tell them to do a search and a click. That's what we call CT spam or click-through spam, right? So that's a signal to Google that somebody searched for a keyword, then found your listing. Then you ask them to find a particular word or a phrase or a sentence or something like that on a page that's buried somewhere in the middle of the page. So they have to spend some time searching for it. That's time on site. Or you can tell them to click through to another page, which is engagement, time on site, and also another click through, right? So there's a lot of different things that you could do to tell microtask workers. But the problem occurs where, and why it's becoming less and less effective, is exactly what I just mentioned. Because if a microtask worker is doing multiple searches per day for random shit all the time, then Google's going to build up a profile for them of, it's likely that they're microtask workers doing CT spam. I mean, think about it. Like, Google's not like they're not an idiot, and neither are their AI. Their AI systems aren't stupid either. And so my point is, it's not as an effective click. It's not weighted as much as it would be if it was coming from somebody that has a relevant search history, or has an interest or topical relevancy, or something in their recent search history that would make that click so much more valid or more appropriate, which means it's a heavier weighted click, which means it produces better results and a much higher level engagement signal. And so that's where I'm talking about crowdsearch.me. You got to think about that, guys. Those are bots. Those are bots where they spoof the user agents, they spoof the IPs, and all that. But even the IP ranges that these bots use are within specific ranges that have been flagged, right? So what I'm saying to answer your question, KD, would be not to use it direct to money site. What I recommend using it for is referral traffic. It still works well for that. It also works well if you want to send traffic to like press releases to help them to stick longer in the search results, right? Because we all know that press releases rank really well quickly, or typically rank really well quickly, but they don't last for long unless they get a high level of traffic. But for that, you can buy Fiverr gigs, and I'd recommend Fiverr gigs. There's several of them that I've recommended on many occasions publicly, right? That you can, so you can buy a $10 or a $15 Fiverr gig and boost a press release for for a month, which I don't know what you're paying for crowd search, but me, I was buying 50,000 credits a month, so it was rather expensive, right? So again, referral traffic, and by the way, if you want to learn how to do referral traffic, let me just see if I can pull this up for him real quick. Or Kate, excuse me. Let's go to
while you're pulling that up.
Okay.
I'd also like to mention the mgyb.co marketplace. We have real YouTube views, and you could add a call to action where you send people to your website, and you can't get anything better than a real person watching a YouTube video, clicking through to your website. I mean, that's absolutely the best thing that can happen for your website, because the referral is YouTube. That's the referral.
Yep. I just want to see. Here's another one. I'm going to drop each one of these links because I've done extensive training on that as well. So stand by for just 1 minute. This is the okay. Yeah, this is the one that I wanted to share. Okay, I did this. Look when was this published? September 26, 2015, guys. Is when this was published, and it's still valid. It's still relevant. This video. This is how to set up, and I did it with Jason Johnson of the Sendwire Black Facebook group. Anyways, this is almost 2 years ago or 3 years ago, excuse me, and this is still valid for a good way to use crowd search for referral traffic. And then there's also probably a Hump Day Hangouts clip here too that I could post, but it's probably look at that. That's awesome. That's from Fist Fight, Wayne Clayton. That's awesome. That was a funny ass movie, by the way. I thought that movie was hilarious. Referral traffic.
That should say snitches get stitches, bitches.
That's Ice Cube. That's a funny ass movie. Anyways, we got to keep moving. But yeah, I'm sorry about going so long on the crowd search thing, guys. But that's a great question though, KD. Yeah, I don't recommend using it so much anymore unless you're using it for very specific purposes, because there are alternate better ways to get traffic and real traffic too. Okay.